Summerslam Predictions. Woo! I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers and talk about some wrestling.
The most exciting party of the summer. Is that how
I'm excited.
This is going to be good.
I'm excited.
A lot better than last year's SummerSlam.
Yeah, we're coming out. We always do our reviews the Monday before, and then we'll have another kind of wish list or a what if episode later in the week. But we want to get our predictions out and early, and then we have a week to regret.
Yeah, a week to watch everything and see how everything we thought was going to happen doesn't end up happening.
We have no idea what the match card is going to look like. Obviously, a lot of people have speculated that Cody and Solo are going on last, but I just put it in order. We got 6 matches lined up. I put it in order of our interests, our personal interests. So we're going to start hot. Sami Zayn versus Braunbreaker Intercontinental title. Who wins this match?
It's got to be Braun.
Woo!
Has to be Braunbreaker. I mean, Sami and Jay teamed on Raw.
Yep.
It seemed like that was some really good chemistry, obviously. Seems like they are maybe moving towards being a tag team again.
Yep.
Can't have the IC title mixed up in that. Braun and Ilya also have kind of unfinished business. Braun's going to be great as an IC champion. I can just watch those guys wrestle for days.
Yeah.
So sign me up. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have Braun lose it at Money in the Bank and then lose it again at SummerSlam.
Yep.
So give me Braun.
Yeah, 100%. It has to be Braunbreaker. It has to be Braunbreaker. It has to be Braunbreaker, man. WWE, it has to be Braunbreaker.
Right.
Please.
Right.
Yeah, Sami, it's the same argument that I've had since they first fought. It's like Sami is over. He's over. We can't be having these mid-card titles just sit on guys for months and months and months, man. It sort of worked with Gunther. It's not working with Logan Paul. To me, personally, it hasn't worked with Sami Zayn because I just feel like he's been a roadblock in which people can't get over on. Thankfully, Chad Gable had a phenomenal story that could kind of carry him past that.
Yeah.
But if Braunbreaker runs into another haluva kick finish here, like I'm not going to be taking him seriously as a singles competitor. Like you can put badass on his ass, whatever you want on his ass, but I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to sit there and believe it. He needs to win. He needs to win this clean. I don't care if Ilya gets involved in any way. If you want to do that, sure. But I would rather the end spot be a clean like spear, pin Sami Zayn, finish it off clean. Give Braun the belt here. Have him go to Ilya, and let's just start getting these mid card titles becoming the workhorse titles that they should be.
Yeah, I think for me at least, with how the match card for the PLE lays out, I'd have a problem with Ilya interfering some way somehow because I feel like there's going to be enough of that in other things. So this one doesn't really need it. And you can still
good
play
point.
off that he's still hurt. Quote
Good
unquote,
point. Good point.
But
yeah, that's a very good point. We're gonna have a lot of shenanigans at SummerSlam, so maybe leave him out of this one. Not much else to say on that one.
No,
huh? Pretty
no.
decisive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could say one last point. Like I know some people are. Sami's very polarizing. Either you like him or you think he's Sammy Hogan. And the crowd that likes him is like, how can you guys call him Sammy Hogan? Blah, 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 blah. For me personally, I wasn't a fan of him ending Gunther's reign. I thought that should have been somebody else, maybe like a Gable. But for me, at least, Sami's kind of been almost the same character since he has gotten out of the bloodline stuff. I mean, yeah, he won those tag belts with Owens, and that was great. That was cool. But I still consider that bloodline stuff. But ever since then, it's kind of been the same stuff. And you can kind of have him change his character just a little bit. I mean, he could still be the same exact guy, but we saw it with Jay on Raw again. It was kind of like that cool, like, hey, let's do our handshake one last time. Like one time, like, and it was cool. And I was actually like, there's the Sami I like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Let's move it on though. US title, Logan Paul, LA Knight. Yeah. Who wins this match at SummerSlam?
I'm going LA Knight.
Yeah.
Has to be. This one also is pretty decisive.
Yeah.
I mean, Logan's had the belt for 300 days and 2-3 title defenses, something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's not good. I need to see the mid-card champion on TV, like I mentioned before, with the Cody stuff maybe not hitting home with some people as it hasn't for some time. Some people like it, some people don't. You need your mid card title to kind of be present and be relevant. That hasn't been the case, and maybe that's why SmackDown's been kind of bogged down at times, kind of lacking a little bit. LA's going to be there. He's there every single week. Like you said about Sami, he's also over, but I feel like LA could kind of maybe take that next step.
Yeah, completely agree here. It needs to be LA night. It kind of sucks to have to eat my own words because when we very first started the podcast and Logan Paul was kind of early on into his title, this U.S. title reign, I was like, this dude's gonna be a star. He's gonna prove people wrong about celebrities coming into wrestling. He's gonna take this title and maybe one day even win the big one. But it just proves to show that, or it comes to prove that celebrities, as good as they are in the ring, they just have so much other stuff to do that you just can't get what you need out of them. And what we need from Logan Paul is we need our mid-card title to be showing up and getting defended. We need it. And if he's not going to do it, if it's going to be 300 days with 2 title defenses, that just isn't going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. LA Knight is there weekly. He's carrying the mid part of SmackDowns week to week. Like, he kind of carries that. He always does a segment that gets more eyes on the product, no matter what stories SmackDown's telling that night. Give him the belt, and then you immediately got guys there that could have matches. You got the Andrade, Carmelo Hayes stuff, even though we've seen LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes lately, but now with a title would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you pencil in Santos? I know.
Yeah, Santos.
He just beat Santos not too long ago on SmackDown, but you could have that happen again. Like there are people that deserve some sort of chance. Ford. Yeah.
Montez Ford.
Baron Corbin.
We
know that they're obviously in tag team stuff, but like, who's to say I can't just go out and try it, you know? So you can at least have, and I think that's the case with both the US and the IC. They've kind of been held down by Gunther and Sami and Logan, that you haven't gotten to see like a mix of people.
No.
Like, some people that could be challenging for those titles have been held back and they haven't been able to. And now you could really start to see that again.
And you could argue that those guys, I mean, that might suck to say, because Gunther was kind of new to the main American roster when he ended up winning Intercontinental for the first time, so I might give that a pass. But, like, in terms of Sami Zayn, dude main evented a WrestleMania night. Like, we didn't really need... There's so much mid-card great talent on both SmackDown and Raw to where I just think that we don't need to give these superstars these mid-carders title belts. Like, pass it around to the mid-card talent that legitimately needs, like, is right there at the line of getting over and becoming something more. Like, that. Those are the guys that these belts are made for. Let's pass it to them.
Yeah, and the IC is kind of like that workhorse. And I'll make this last point, then we can go into the next match. IC's that workhorse one, so like I guess it kind of makes sense that they have that. But if you're going to have your main titles both be long reigns, you can't have long reign, mid card, long reign. Like, you gotta have some variance, or else people get tired. Like, people want to see a mix. So if you're not gonna mix the main titles around, at least mix the mid card titles around to where this guy has it, and then maybe this guy challenges, and then this guy.
And the thing that people forget is you can drop it back. Mm-hmm. Like, Sami could have dropped it to Braun, and then at SummerSlam won it back. Like that type of stuff can happen. Like, you can have back and forth tug of wars with these belts. Yeah. It doesn't need to be like, now you dropped it and you're done, or now you lost it and you're done. Like, we have rematch clauses for a reason. Like, back in the day, that was just wrestling. Like the back and forth tug of war with the title was just a thing. And now I feel like that just doesn't exist. It's just you get one shot and you're done.
Yeah, Triple H has kind of proven that, like, he likes those long reigns where it's like, you might get a rematch. They like to use the rematch when it, I guess, works best for them. Yeah, it doesn't always, you don't always get one, but it's like, you could at least do that. Just add some sort of variance, some sort of change up with the mid cards, because you are so focused on Cody's having this belt, or Roman's having this belt forever, or whoever on Raw. So
totally agree. Let's move it on. Let's do the first women's title match of the night. Let's do Bayley versus Nia with Tiffany in her corner. Who wins the women's championship?
Yeah, I feel like this is also another pretty easy one. I guess I was like super excited for this, but now I'm running through these. I'm like, man, I feel like these are kind of predictable almost. I'm going Nia Jax. Going Nia Jax. The real question for me is, do we get a cash in or not here?
Yeah, I'm 100% going with Tiffany. I think Tiffany's walking away with the championship. I think she's cashing in on Nia. I think it's going to be that sort of thing. I think throughout the match, something's going to happen to Nia to where she's vulnerable. Something. I don't what happens. I don't know. I don't see Tiffany turning on Nia during the match. I don't see anything like that. I just think that something happens in which Nia, maybe Mishin gets involved. Who knows? But I think Nia ends up being vulnerable. I think it's going to be a kind of like a Drew McIntyre, Damien Priest situation to where it's a win, it's a celebration, and then it's Tiffy time, and that pop is going to be massive, and Tiffy gonna walk out the champion. And he's gonna make the strap on the belt pink.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, after everything that we're going to have, like, it's almost like I know SummerSlam's a big PLE, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the big four. But, like, I guess in my mind, I'm like, how much can you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I also really want to see the dynamic of Nia having the belt and Tiffany with the briefcase for just a little bit. So, like, while I do think that Tiffany is going to cash in eventually, I don't think it's going to be now just because I want to see that dynamic for, it doesn't have to be long. Give me like a month.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Don't get me wrong. If I had to put my money on it, that's probably what they're doing. But I think they're gonna pull the trigger for some reason. My gut reaction says that they're gonna pull it. They're gonna pull the trigger on this. Just because then you could immediately pivot into the Tiffany Nia long-term rivalry there for a while. I for some reason that's my gut. My gut is telling me it's Tiffy time.
You can't fight that.
Can't fight the gut.
My only thing is, like I said, with the Money in the Bank, we got that quick cash in with the men's.
Yep.
I don't want to see that with the women's
I
because it
agree.
is still quick.
I agree.
And like I said, SummerSlam is already so just like I said, mind blown because of everything we think might happen. That I'm like, you could just hold that off for like a little bit. It'll be okay. But I mean, it's always Tiffy time. So
yeah, it was always Tiffy time. Again, we're going in order of stuff that interests us. So I have next up on our list Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa, WWE Undisputed Championship. Who walks out of SummerSlam with it?
yeah, it's gonna be Cody. I don't think Cody's losing this belt anytime soon. I think you can still have the returns of if Jimmy's not back yet, as we say Jimmy might come back on SmackDown or something.
Yeah.
If Jimmy's not back yet, Jimmy's coming back. If Jimmy is back, or even if he's not, Roman's got to come back. Paul Heyman's got to come back. Just give me everybody.
Yeah.
Roman screwing over Solo and kind of like almost like a WrestleMania, like what do you want to call it? Like not like a sequel, but like a redone, like a
Oh, like how they like with all the entrances and stuff at the end, how Cena came and Undertaker came and all that stuff. Yeah.
I could maybe see like a ref bump, and then you have Bloodline beating him up, and then one person runs out, and then the next person runs out, and then all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, like, and then
that ladies and gentlemen is going to hit like it has never hit before. I hope we don't even see him. I hope it's one of those things where they just are right behind or in gorilla, and then you just hear "ladies and gentlemen," and he walks out, and the whole crowd's going wild, and then he introduces them, and the music hits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm 100% with you. Cody Rhodes is walking out of this. It does feel a little nasty that I am 10 times more excited for Roman Reigns to return and the potential there than I am for like Cody winning the belt here and remaining champ. But hopefully this is the separator and we get the Bloodline Civil War and we get Cody over here and he can do his thing. But man, oh man, it's time for the Tribal Chief to come back and get involved in this Bloodline 2.0 thing because I'm just personally kind of to me, it's just repetitive week to week. But hopefully we get Jimmy on Friday. That's my prediction. Hopefully we get Jimmy on Friday. And then hopefully we get Roman Reigns on Saturday with Paul Heyman. It's going to be good.
Yeah, there's what?
You think if Roman Reigns shows up, you think Jay's with him?
That's what I was just about to ask. So you got what, 3 or 4 people?
Maybe Sam. No, because Sami would just lose.
Yeah, maybe Jay's there. I don't know. I mean, Jay's got to make an appearance. Jay is too over to not.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he might get
so.
involved in the Rhea stuff. I don't know, but
yeah, which is true. I think maybe if Jimmy goes, like, I think the way they probably do it is they're all beating up on Cody, and then maybe Jimmy runs out, and then because Jimmy's out there, like, oh, Jay, admittedly they've had some disagreements, and the last time I think we saw them was at Mania. Yep. But I mean that's your twin brother, so maybe he runs out. and then
Time heals wounds.
yeah, and then Roman comes out, something like that. I mean, I got goosebumps talking about Roman coming back. I'm excited. I don't know. I will say I don't know what you do with Cody. I don't know if he goes to Bash or not. I would assume so.
He's gotta.
Because it's international and he's so over. And then Bad Bloody's obviously going to be there. I don't know who you have him face there.
Cody's title reign after the return of Roman and whatever happens is a total mystery to me. Really, I don't know where they go with it because they haven't hinted at any like little side rivalries. I mean, people are gonna be like, "What do you mean? Randy Orton's been eyeing that title forever," but it's like, yeah, but those are like extremely subtle hints. So they don't have any like, you know, he isn't bumping into anybody for the last few weeks and been like, okay, what the hell, man? And then you can do it. Like,
yeah, the only like credible heel I've seen has been Jacob Fatu, but like I like you said, I want them to separate that.
yeah,
but that might be what they do for a couple of months. Is maybe Solo and Roman go at it a little bit or something. I don't know, but that's been the only like legit heel that I can take seriously to take that belt off Cody.
Yeah, I got no idea. Unless you have Kevin Owens or Randy Orton turn on him. That seems like the easy route because both those guys have been heels before. So you could easily just have one of them turn. We'll see. I don't know. But Cody's walking out champion. Okay, Cody's walking out with a strap. I would be shocked if that didn't happen. Move on to the next one. Again, order of what we want here. In fact, I left one off the list, the top one. So I'm writing that down real quick. But we're going to go CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the guest referee. Who wins this one? I'm going to go first.
Okay, you give me time to think.
I think Drew McIntyre needs to win here. I do. I think Drew McIntyre needs to win. When you look at the story as a whole, Drew's just been taking L's, man. Like he's the one getting screwed over most of the time and getting opportunities snatched from him and things happening. Like he's the one that has really been the victim of the whole thing. Like sure, he attacked CM Punk on SmackDown and stole the bracelet to kind of even the playing field out, but that man is the one who's been getting L's taken. And I just think that there's a common denominator, or there's a common ground with Seth and Drew that they'll find throughout the match of like, hey, this guy left wrestling for 10 years while we held it down. Why are we not just screwing this guy over?
Yeah.
So I think Drew McIntyre should win this match. I really do.
Yeah, this is easily the toughest one, I think. Oh man. Because you went with Drew, I'm going to go with Punk.
It's clobbering time.
I don't have a real rhyme or reason, I guess, as to why I'm picking Punk. Seth's screwing somebody over. Now, who is it? I guess we'll find out. But something in me just says that, like, Punk, obviously, last time we saw him in a ring was in the Rumble. And I know Punk kind of, like, he's not going to lose steam if he loses. But I feel like I kind of need to see him win, which doesn't sound like, I could say that for both guys, right? Like Drew needs a win because, like you said, he's lost. It would be nice to see Punk win because we haven't seen Punk win in forever. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a good point of like, this is going to be the first SummerSlam Punk's been at in a decade.
Yeah.
Can he lose it? And that type of stuff. It's a coin toss. I really don't know because obviously the easy choice is CM Punk because people are so behind him. It's his first match.
Yep.
It just comes down to the Rollins storyline throughout the match.
Yeah.
Say Rollins stomps both of them and gets to pull one guy over the other. Who do you think he's pulling over? It's got to be Drew. He's not going to put CM Punk on top of Drew.
See, that's tough. That's really tough. You're probably right in saying that. I think that, it's August for SummerSlam. I think Rollins and Punk is going to be Mania. So you've got time to build that. So I think maybe Rollins and Drew kind of feud. Maybe. I don't know who you have Punk feud with after that. But
I think this feud, that's another hazy feud. Like, are they just gonna continue this feud between like Punk, McIntyre, and Seth like all the way to Mania in some way, shape, or form? Like
That's also fair. Like I don't think this one match is. I was acting like I was saying this, but I don't think this one match is going to be enough to.
Oh no.
So you're going to get multiple. Yeah, I think maybe there's some way somehow he screws somebody over, and then eventually, let's just say Survivor Series. I don't know. That's way down the line, but let's just say I think that turns into maybe a triple threat then.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get a triple threat.
And so I mean, you can prolong it until then, and then you see maybe, but I don't know. This one's the toughest one to predict.
Which is so great of a feeling, man. All of our PLEs lately, I feel like we've been able to just like rattle them. Like, this gonna happen, this gonna happen, this gonna happen with some Damien drama in the middle. But like, a couple of these matches, I'm like,
yeah. And I guess I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm gonna pick Punk just because Drew's been so personal. Like with the bracelet,
good point,
and everything. I feel like that's probably like a Punk's got this added edge or whatever.
Yeah, true.
And Drew's had such a good run as this heel. No matter if he wins or loses, I hope he continues this like savagery like run of being a heel because he's been great.
Oh, Drew, yeah,
and he can do that to whoever.
This needs to be his permanent character for the foreseeable future. He's just kind of now free to do what he wants. He doesn't need to, to be like the Scottish guy with the sword all the time. Like he can be himself. So moving on. 2 more matches left. We're gonna go with Liv versus Rhea, Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Who wins at SummerSlam?
Yeah, it's got to be Liv Morgan.
Woo!
Got to be. I mean, Dom's got to help Liv.
Daddy Dom.
And we got to see what happens there. I think it just makes sense. You can't have Liv lose the belt in their first defense to Rhea.
Yeah.
That just squanders everything.
Agreed.
And Dom's the added element of, like, you can continue that part as well. And I think everybody's almost in agreement on this one. I think there's been a few people that have said Rhea, but I think everybody wants to see Liv hold that belt because she is doing some really good character work. Plus, we talked about it when Rollins came back, when we were like, oh, Rollins versus Damien Priest at Money in the Bank, right?
Yeah.
We were like, Rollins just can't come back and win the belt.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Rhea here. As dominant as Rhea is, because Rhea's in another stratosphere, you just can't do that.
I completely agree. It has to be Liv. The real question of the match is how does Liv win? It's like, is Dom gonna turn on Rhea? Are we gonna get Finn Balor acknowledging that he's been working with Liv the whole time? Is it gonna be a Liv turn on Dom after she gets Dom to turn on Rhea?
Jey Uso, does he show up?
Jey Uso, is he gonna come out and steal mommy from Dom, which then leads to Dom helping Liv? Like, there's so much little stuff that could happen here that could end with the match. But I just think Liv, no matter what, stands tall, and that's the right decision. And giving it to Rhea would kind of make no sense and kill the momentum of the stories, because then we would just have Liv needing the title back, which is less interesting to me than whatever they can do with Dom, Finn, Jay, and all that type of stuff. So,
yeah, 1,000%.
1,000%.
Not much more to add there.
He gonna be drowning in the nuggies.
I do think it's gonna be more of a, because he helped Liv with like the Becky stuff and and those were accidental. I think it is going to be a little bit more deliberate, probably.
Oh, 100%.
So maybe they tease like an accidental one in the beginning of the match, and then maybe he is more deliberate later on.
Oh, see, I think it'd be opposite. I think he'll be deliberately helping Rhea throughout the match, and then there will just be a moment of like stepping on the ladder type deal of like, not anymore, mommy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a like he accidentally slides a chair in or whatever, and Liv maybe uses that or something like that.
Got it.
And then later on, he just full on is like, nah, we're not doing.
No matter what, if Dom helps Liv, it's ending in a makeout session at the end between Dom and Liv.
So that's a perfect. That's how I'm gonna say it happens. He slides a chair in, Liv uses that, Rhea gets hit with the chair or suplex on a chair, something like that, and then Rhea gets up and is obviously pissed off, like, why are you helping her? Why are you da 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 da? And then Dom's just like, nah, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah. No more disrespect to Dom. Come on. Main event. It probably won't be the main event, but for us it is, because that's probably what we're most invested in. Our boy Damien Priest versus Gunther, World Heavyweight Championship. Who walks out of SummerSlam?
Yeah, really, these last 3 matches you could intertwine, swap them. Those last 3 are pretty much what we're most excited for.
100%.
I'm going Damien Priest.
Ooh.
It's been nice to see Damien Priest support online, at least, about people being like, no, Gunther doesn't need this right now. It's not going to set him back. Priest has been doing some really good work. I think it's another question of, does Finn Balor get involved? Does Judgment Day get involved? But I see Priest walking out with this some way, somehow. It might be another one where he does end up getting help, because that seems to be his, I guess, characters. He doesn't want the help, but Judgment Day still helps. And maybe that kind of pushes him more towards the breaking point of leaving Judgment Day or being pushed out. But, I mean, Priest is doing some really, really good work. I would hate to see him lose the title. It would kind of take some steam off of him, to me. And Gunther, whenever Gunther does get that belt, it's going to be a long reign.
Yes.
And we don't need a 4-month Priest reign into a however long Gunther reign, combined with a previous Cody reign, combined with a Roman reign and a Gunther IC. Like there's so many long reigns that he will get his time to hold that. But right now I want to see Priest hold that belt and then feud with the Judgment Day. Finn can have it. Finn can drop that belt shortly after.
Yep.
And then you go from there.
Yeah, you asked me to predict this match 2 months ago. I'm going Gunther 100%, but there just hasn't been enough of the Judgment Day fallout to occur yet for me to say no, it's time to get Damien away from the belt and just go after that, because I thought Finn would be, by this time I thought we would be on the breaking point between Finn and Damien.
I really
and
thought
that's
so
not
too.
happening.
Yeah. I really thought they were going to push that.
We'll see on Raw this week whatever happens between the Finn Gunther match, but at the moment, it just they are not butting heads like I thought they would be, and that to me needs to be the reason that he drops the belt. There needs to be big time Judgment Day actions that screw him out of it, or big time Judgment Day actions that lead to Judgment Day feuding over the belt themselves, something like that. I love Gunther, and I want to see that reign, and he's 100% getting that reign at some point, probably at Bash at Berlin somehow, but not now, not yet. He doesn't have the storylines that entice most viewers like Damien Priest currently has with that belt.
And that's a very fair point about what you said with what happens with Raw. And as you said that, it clicked in my head. Like, you can't have Gunther lose to Balor.
No.
So Balor's going to lose to Gunther.
Yes.
Priest can beat Gunther. And then Damien's like, oh, well, I beat the guy that you couldn't beat.
And he beat Braun Strowman too, who is consistently got on JD and Finn's nerves. So
so they're kind of building that up, which I think is a really, really, like, maybe not hidden's the right word, but kind of goes undetected maybe, but it's a really nice little small point.
The storyline that I think they're beginning to hint at is Finn acknowledging he's going to eventually acknowledge the fact that he's the only one defending Judgment Day's honor, because like last week with Jay, like he went and set up the match and he was trying to beat up Jay for what he said about Mommy. And then he also set up the match against Gunther because Gunther was talking smack on the Judgment Day. And so I think he's eventually going to be like, dude, I'm the only one defending this stuff. You just think about yourself and that freaking title, which he's alluded at a couple times, but it's just not to the point yet to where by next Saturday we can blow it out and Damien loses the belt because of it. Unless something drastic happens on Raw, which could be possible. And then I'll be like, damn, we put this video out too early, but is what it is. It is what it is. But eventually, my biggest want is just somehow the title match or the title ends up around Finn's waist somehow, or at least he gets close to winning it, because he deserves that level of status. But I've said that a million times, so I won't go into it. But that would be my ideal blow off would be for Damien to drop it to Finn. And then Finn to eventually drop it to Gunther.
Yeah, I think that might be the way that they go. And then, it's kind of crazy because we talk about, I guess this is just a thought. So you have the Cody stuff where we're talking about how kind of quote unquote underwhelming Cody's run has been. And it's kind of like, oh, well, you've got Orton and you've got the Bloodline and you've got, I don't know, KO. But there's not that many top heavy stars on SmackDown. In terms of like who's going to challenge for that belt. But then you look at Raw, you've got McIntyre, you've got Rollins, you've got Punk, you've got Gunther, you've got hopefully Finn. Like there's so many different ways they could go.
Like you could, if you push him enough, like Chad Gable is kind of, he could get to that level, stuff like that. They have a lot of budding stars. Yeah, I agree. Ideally, I'd like Gunther to find his way onto SmackDown and challenge for that belt at some point.
Yeah. I don't know what
you could really do the Rocky storyline right there, like the American Nightmare versus Gunther. Like,
yeah.
I mean that.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy because it's like you think about long-term Mania stuff, and I know Mania is a long ways away, so we've got a long way to go. But it's like you think Priest Rollins potentially. I don't know who McIntyre would fight. We think maybe Cody Orton, Cody Rock, whoever.
John Cena.
Yeah, like there's so many different possibilities. I guess Cody Orton would be at Rumble, but like Cody Rock or Rock Roman, like whoever. There's so much top end talent that I'm like, I don't know who is going to have the belt by then. I don't know who's. I mean, Cody's gonna have.
Cody's set in stone, I think.
Cody's set in stone. I don't know who challenges him at that point. And then you're like, okay, well, Raw, no idea.
Oh yeah, that belt.
Am I here for it though?
That belt could be on anybody by the time. Yeah.
I would assume probably like Rollins versus Punk.
Yeah,
maybe, but that'd be my guess. But like
Cena,
so many stars.
Yeah, so many. Anyway, those are our SummerSlam predictions. By the way, we will be doing our first ever live stream during SummerSlam. That will probably go awfully, but we're gonna give it the old college try. We'll be streaming on YouTube and TikTok is what we're gonna aim for. Maybe Twitch. I don't know. We'll see what we do, but we got to figure out how to use a computer. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe start small and just
start small,
YouTube,
go
TikTok,
big.
But,
so if you do watch us, put that on your calendar. It'll be a fun time. We'll be watching along, get our live reactions to it, and then we'll do our full reactions video afterward. But let us know in the comments what you think, who you think is going to win at SummerSlam, and all the shenanigans that may be occurring during it. So follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod, and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at Apple, Spotify, etc. And share us with whoever you might think would like this type of wrestling content. As always, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.